sea. Cruising waves, we're wild and free. From the deck, we'll see it all. Laughing loud, having a ball. Are you ready? Let's hit the road. Eagle flying, watch us go. Mountain peaks to valleys deep. Every turn a promise we keep. PK Adventure travels in our hearts. Every journey, a brand new start. Laughs and smiles on every side. Till the fun comes for the ride. Island hopping, here we come. Sunny skies and beating drums. Finding treasures new and old. And with stories yet untold. Campfire glow under the stars. Whispers of the moonlit scars. In every corner sacred calls. The world awaits in wonder it unfolds. PK Adventure travels in our hearts. Every journey a brand new start. Laughs and smiles on every side. Join the fun, come for the ride.
I like that thing sound. It took me a while to find that, you know. I had to one the right modulation. But
Hello, happy Friday.
Friday.
Oh my God. We could be so lucky to have it.
Oh, I got Friday on the brain.
Yes,
Friday's on the brain.
It's Hump Day.
Humpty
And
Dumpty.
it is time for a PKAT Chat to get you through the rest of the week.
Yeah, unfortunately, it's not Friday.
No,
Definitely not Friday.
Oh, yeah.
Definitely not.
No.
But yes, we're
We're
here
still
to
here.
chat, talk, still here, cruise expectations, all that jazz.
So I wore my cruise shirt. So he was wearing Royal Caribbean, so I wore Carnival.
Yeah. Got Royal and Carnival representing over here today. And if you have to excuse me if you see me start to sniff that way.
Yeah, he literally just got back 5 seconds ago, and I was like, what am I supposed to do if he doesn't come back?
I made homemade banana bread with the last of my bananas, and it's so tantalizing, the smell.
And the timer just went off.
Yeah.
Good. I was afraid you were going to say, you know, you farted and you like your own brand or something.
No, not at all. But all right. Well, thank you everyone for coming. So if you are here for the replay, make sure you hit that hashtag replay. We do appreciate it. If you can share this stream out to others, please do so we can entice some new viewers to come listen to our expertise.
Is that what we're calling it?
Why, yes. Yes, we are.
Okay.
All right. But before we get started, let's go ahead and welcome in several peeps here. So what are you doing? You're like going everything out of order, woman.
I'm
Start at the top. Just start at the top.
Hey, Tony.
Hey, how you doing?
Yeah, so first we do have M.
Welcome, foolish mortals.
So she may have posted that yesterday because unless she's posting from the future that says 7:04 p.m.
that's why I skipped it, because I thought it was
But it's okay.
Okay, we're gonna welcome him anyway.
Yes, we're going to
Well,
welcome
maybe
her.
she showed up on Friday.
That's true.
That's
true.
right.
And then we do have Eddie Lugo. Yo.
Yo, yo, yo.
Cleaning the house.
Who you calling knuckleheads? And
We got Tony. And cut. So we don't get in trouble.
New Horizons Above and Beyond. Welcome in.
Welcome.
Welcome to the party, pal.
And hey, DJ. And everybody's just saying, hey, doing good, Tony.
Yep, we got
Emily doesn't count. What are you talking about? She does.
Yeah, I guess M doesn't count if it's not here on the live. It's that was a pre-live posting.
She'll be here eventually. I have faith.
I have faith, yes. All right, so today
Actually, I have faith.
that's right. Technically,
You have
we do have faith.
Desi.
We
Yeah.
have Desi.
Yes. We're talking about kid names, by the way.
Yeah. And we tried to convince her to come on because she's actually in town. But as you can see by the lack of a third person over here, we done got stood up.
Yeah, she never has time for us now.
Yeah,
Just when
right?
she needs a ride to the airport.
Yeah.
Or wedding bill pay.
Or
Yeah.
wedding bills paid.
Yeah.
Yes. Awesome.
Hola, Christine. Who are these peeps?
So the other peeps.
I know
Faith,
these weirdos.
Mm-mm.
yeah, but Faith is their young'un. Desi is our young'un. Of course, you guys have Haley as well.
Yeah. She's our younger youngin as opposed to our older youngin.
Both of them are praising the almighty mouse at this particular point in time.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. Yes.
And by praising the mouse, I mean working like mouse slaves.
That's right. They work for a mouse.
Yes. There they are. The mouse's big fat B word.
And I thought my job was screwed up.
They got to get that cheese.
Yep. All right. Well, we digress. So we do have a poll up right now about, what surprised you most in regards to cruising. Most of these are actually a positive spin. You thought it would be this, but it was actually better. But it could be the reverse as well. So if there's anything that you thought that you were expecting to be bad and was good, great. But if there's something you thought would go smoothly, they just went terrible, that's definitely something to share as well.
Right.
I thought the unlimited drink package was unlimited, but they cut me off at 47.
Yes. All right, so let's talk Embarkation Day. I guess the best thing to do is to start there when you're getting on the ship.
I think the biggest expectation on day one, in my opinion, is just the crowds. You're going to have to deal with the crowds the first day. Everybody's trying to get accustomed to the layout, do a bunch of things, make reservations, do all kinds of stuff. And I think the elevators are going to be like totally packed. And especially with the smart elevators, the first day, they don't work.
No, they're terrible.
They haven't learned where you want to go yet.
Yes.
Yep. Well, it's that, but the other thing that, again, new cruisers probably don't know as well, even seasoned cruisers, if it's only been, 2 or 3, like half the elevators are shut down for staff use to be able to get your luggage. So you're operating not only with first day embarkation woes, with everyone jamming on and trying to go up to the pool deck, the Lido deck, wherever the food is, but you're working on half, more than likely, if not a little bit less, of the elevators, because all of the other ones are being used to bring luggage up and deliver those to your room.
That's true.
One thing I have seen, especially when we've done the tours on Carnival, at least, there's an elevator dedicated just to go the lunch express. So
Yes.
they use that to go straight up to eat lunch, because that's what most people do.
Yep. So we did see that actually on a couple of the tours that we were on, kind of that express elevator to 10 or 11 or whatever the deck is for lunch.
Yep.
Interesting.
So I would say once you're on the ship, that's definitely something to consider. Now, is there a flip side? Yes. You could think that it's going to be terrible and it goes smoothly, but that also kind of coincides with when you're trying to get where you want to go. If you are there as soon as you can get on the ship, then yeah, the crowds are going to be less. You're going to be able to get through things more than likely quicker, get all of your stuff taken care of before the masses get on.
I've also seen, if you're one of the last people on the ship, it's also less crowds.
Yes. Because
But
by that time, yeah, you won't have any reservations left for specialty restaurants, but yeah, most of the people have already gotten their lunch and have already, gotten on board, especially if you get there like after 1 or 1:30 when the room's open. Then the masses are going to their room.
Yeah.
So again, there are some plus and minuses depending on when you actually get there and get on the ship.
True.
There's people in the chat we need to catch up on.
Yep. Let's catch up with some people. So we got Ross has made it in.
Hey,
Yeah.
Rose.
That's right. Mickey Mouse excuse.
Mm-mm.
And then we got CNS Travel. Thank you for coming in.
Welcome,
Hey.
foolish mortals.
Yes, and I agree wholeheartedly. That
They're not so smart,
yeah,
especially on the first day.
and the problem is this as well. with talking with some of the management on the ship when we do these tours and we can ask a bunch of questions. One of the things that I guess the elevators don't take into consideration and guests don't know about is technically everyone in your party who wants to get on that elevator should push the button themselves. If you have a party of 6 and you say, I want to go to 10, it thinks only one person is getting on there. And then that's why it still stops at other floors. And people are like, well, it's full. And that's because technically the smart elevator only looks at a request as one person. So that's, again, definitely a huge flaw because there's nothing there that says, hey, if you've got 4 people in your party, then click that 4 times.
They should add a button that says, how many's in your party?
Yes, that would be spectacular.
That would be the smart thing to
Yep.
do.
And then the other thing to keep in mind.
Computer, 3 to transport to sick bay.
Yeah.
They should make it voice activated.
Yeah. The other thing is if you're in a wheelchair, you have to hit, or not just a wheelchair, but wheelchair or walker or something like that where you need extra time, you have to hit that handicap button when you put it, or the doors are going to open and close as if someone's just walking right out. It's not going to take into consideration the extra time needed.
Right.
So, but do we have some more people that have come in? I got sidetracked again.
Alice Lugo Studio.
Yeah.
Yes!
Hi, Alan.
Hey!
Hello there.
Then we got people saying hi.
We have Carnival
Woo!
Cruise Addicts.
CCA!
Hello.
Welcome in the house. Who else? I thought I saw somebody special sneak in there too.
Controversial Cruising.
Yes!
Hey, Scott.
God, the man, the myth, the legend.
I like that one. I personally like that one.
Will you put it together?
Scott Sterling. If you guys haven't seen that YouTube video of Scott Sterling, the goalkeeper, that's where that clip's from. It is hilarious. So
That's a hockey reference, huh?
no. It's soccer.
Oh,
And
soccer. Oh,
it's
that-
like a British comedy show, and this guy, Scott Sterling, every time they're doing a penalty kick, the other team kicks him in the face. And then he crawls in the corner and it bounces off the pole and hits him in the face and he saves it. And then he turns around backwards so his face isn't showing and it hits the pole and bounces back and hits him in the face.
That
And they
still
put
sounds a lot like a hockey puck. It still sounds a lot like a hockey game, though.
There may have been another one that was like that as well because they've done a couple.
Huh.
Law
Ma
Jones!
Jones.
Welcome to the party, pal.
Yeah, and
Excellent.
then Eddie. Let's see, John. Yeah.
Ooh, Captain Coco's here! Peachy, Captain Coco's here.
PG.
She's laying on the ground. She doesn't want to say hi to.
Cheesy chicken stuffed peppers. Okay. Is that what we're having for dinner?
Ooh, that sounds good,
That's
actually.
delicious.
I like that. That sounds delish.
We had Jack Daniel's Tennessee honey pulled pork sliders.
Ooh, nice. We were going to have.
Well, I take it back.
Stir fry.
Christine had them. Christine had those, and then the live started. So my dinner's getting butt cold in the kitchen.
Hey, I haven't finished.
Oh, okay. That makes me feel better.
I could eat.
Speaking of that, we are we making that announcement now?
Sure, we could do that now if you want to.
Okay.
That
so,
if you're hungry, you should go on the gobble gobble gravy boat getaway mashed
oh
potato.
no, that's not what
maybe
I was
up the
talking
Paddle River
about.
cruise.
Not just yet, but that is coming. Yes.
Okay.
But no, we PKAT is going to change times. We're no longer going to be Wednesdays at 6:30. We are now going to be
Thursdays at 7 p.m. starting May 1st. So this week and next week we'll still be at the 6:30 slot.
Yeah.
But since Scott ended up moving Thursday trivia, so instead of starting 7 Eastern time, he's starting 9 Eastern time. We're going to switch the PKAT Chat to Thursdays at 7. It works better for work schedules.
And Pokemon.
I'll be here. And Pokemon.
And
for
Pokemon.
season.
No, there are no Pokemon
Getters.
events on Thursday. So
Yep,
Yeah.
you got to catch them all, CJ.
damn straight.
Yep. So starting again May 1st. So just that way we can announce it this week and next week. And then again, starting in May, we'll be on Thursdays at 7 p.m.
And we got another person come in.
Ooh, Creatures of the Maroon Lagoon, welcome in. Ooh, that needs to be
Hey.
this one then.
Welcome, foolish mortals.
Okay.
I like that one.
All right. What's up next?
All right, so let's talk expectations of getting into your cabin on day one.
You
You
can
can't-
try to sneak in before one. Don't get
Yes.
caught because they get cranky.
Yes. So there's a
Yeah.
couple of things I think to dissect with this one. First and foremost, yes, generally in mass, you cannot just get on the ship and immediately go to your room if you're on there before like 1 to 2 o'clock.
Depending on your person.
And so if you are going to be bringing all of your luggage on board with you and you're not going to check anything with the porters, that is staying with you. Again, generally, it is staying with you until they finally open up the rooms. Now, is there an exception? Of course there's an exception. There's always an exception to the rule.
If you want to pay more money, that's the exception.
I mean, I guess in the end, yes, everyone who gets that perk pays more money, whether it's the number of cruises you book or
Well,
the perk of getting in
it's
there.
either you pay for like the key, which is a special service,
Yeah.
or you pay for a suite, which I
Yep,
think suites can get in early.
yep. Faster to the fun on
Faster to
Carnival.
Fun Carnival.
Or
if
you
you're
usually
elite.
platinum. Yes, elite, platinum, diamond.
Yep.
You generally can go drop your luggage off. However, again, with managing expectations, that's literally go there, drop your crap off, and leave. And
Yeah, take your keys and get out.
yeah.
Literally.
And we have seen not just on the ships that we've been on traveling, but again, as travel agents, we get on there when we do those ship tours. We get on there before everyone else, and we're generally able to tour the rooms and the suites before everyone gets on there because the expectation is they're not there until 1 or 2. There have been times where we've gotten there at 11 and they're like, this is my room, and they shut the door and they never leave. So that's not a perk to where you can just go in there whenever you want just because you're a suite or an elite and stay there the whole time. It's literally supposed to be drop your stuff off and go back out and enjoy the decks until it's officially done, because your room might not be cleaned yet. They might still be doing odds and ends, and it's a madhouse back there, and they don't need you to block up the space of the crew trying to do a turnaround. I mean, that's a lot of cabins to clean in 5 hours
Or less. Some
or
cases.
less?
Yeah. I mean, they definitely do work hard.
Yeah.
They do.
Yeah.
But yeah, the cabin expectation, if you bring your luggage on, you're gonna be dragging it everywhere until your room gets ready.
Exactly. The expectation you should have is that you and that luggage are best buddies until it's appropriate time. Now, if you get on and you get lucky and they're either open early or you're real close to like we've had one where we're like, okay, out of the elevator, hang a right, boom, there's the room. Okay, no problem, sneaking in, drop the stuff, grab and go, boom. So, again, exceptions to rule.
Yeah. And I think we've also been on one where it was one of our 3 days that we've done, way back post-COVID when we were doing them left and right, where we did carry them all on, and we're trying to find a place in the windjammer to stuff, 4 bags of luggage plus all of our carry-ons to get something to eat. That's a chore when it's full.
Yeah.
Again, work smarter, not harder. Throw all that in a wagon and pull the wagon.
Something tells me you're not going to be able to bring that wagon on.
I know.
I've seen plenty of people with their wagons pulling their soda, pulling their luggage, pulling their kids. Yeah. Call it a stroller and call it a day.
Okay.
Well, let's poll. Well, let's do a poll within a poll within a poll. So in the chat, what's your preferred method? Do you like to drop off your large luggage to the porters and just bring your carry-on when you get on? Or do you like to keep everything with you and deal with all of that mess just so you have your luggage right away? So
Alice has got it right.
Yep. check our luggage and bring a small bag or backpack. Yep, that's generally what we do nowadays.
It really depends. For us, it depends on the cruise. If it's just a 3-day hop down to Coco Cay and Nassau, nobody gets off the boat, Jamaica, then I only need a backpack.
Yeah.
I need 2 bathing suits, 3 pairs of underwear, 3 socks, 3 shirts, and 3 shorts. I'm done. It all fits in a backpack. I don't need luggage.
Yup.
Yep. CCA drops the luggage with the porter. Yep.
Oh, we got one person who snuck in here.
Yep.
Oh, Nightbot.
Ricky Rockstar.
Ricky Rockstar.
Well, that means we got to have a rock song, right? And cut.
Yes, drop everything off and just carry my electronics, passports, credit cards, cash, and kids have their backpacks. Yep.
Yep. Yeah.
You should drop those kids off too somewhere.
I knew that was
That's what
coming.
I would do.
Yep. Yeah, Mel and I generally will drop luggage with porters. I think we've only done it once or twice, but you know what? First day anyway, it's not expecting you to be super formal. So at this point, I'm just like, you know what? I don't want to deal with hauling that through the line and put it up to go through the scan X-ray machine. It's just one.
We've never had a problem.
Speaking of that, there's an expectation. Remember, although they're really good about putting that luggage in the hallway, and you probably could get it shortly after your room is ready, the expectation is not really until 6 or 7 o'clock at night.
Yeah.
True.
In most cases, dinner time should be your expectation, or or slightly later, depending on your seating.
I don't think I've ever gotten luggage that late. Maybe once, long time ago.
Yeah.
If you read your cruise documentation, at least on Royal, that's the expectation they set. They under-promise that and try to over-deliver it.
Agreed.
Or you could be like CJ and have it go through security and security and security again and get it the next day.
Yeah. True.
Yeah.
So.
Sea Lake Journals or Journeys snuck in.
Chat mix.
Hey.
Yeah. And then I thought CNS also answered our poll within a poll within a poll. And they drop off the luggage too. So
anything more than a 3-day, and I'm dropping it too. That's it.
Well, most people do drop off their luggage. However, a lot of people struggle with their, 12 packs of Mountain Dew.
Yeah.
Yes, that's actually what I'm concerned with when we go on Carnival in July. Is they have
crappy Pepsi products.
They have Pepsi. Who in their right mind drinks Pepsi? I mean,
I don't know.
Not us.
There's a segment of backwoods people somewhere in this country who don't probably do.
It's just, and the funny thing is, if you watch the Pepsi versus Coke, there was an episode on I want to say Netflix about Pepsi and Coke and their rivalry over the years, and they had the executives do taste tests, and all the Coke executives picked Coke in the blind taste test. All the Pepsi executives picked Coke in the blind taste test. So that tells you how terrible Pepsi is.
Wasn't Pepsi the one that was giving away the jet and had the lawsuit?
Yes, the lawsuit.
Yeah.
With
the Harrier jet. And that kid
the Harrier jet.
That kid ended up winning the lawsuit.
I think they ended up, they offered him like $1 million or something like that. And
he went away.
He decided to sue him for the Harrier jet or the amount of money it would cost for Harrier jet. And in the end, the courts actually said you should have realized that was, outlandish and not something that would truly have been offered, kind of thing. And so he ended up losing in the end.
He lost in court, but I'm sure he found some compensation before it's all done.
I'm sure so, yeah.
Law Jones says 1+ small bag.
There you go.
Oops. Yeah, Alice, I think we're going to bring our own Coke on.
Yeah, I'll probably bring just a single 12-pack of Coke Zero because we don't drink a lot of soda on board.
I drink mostly water.
But every now and then we want, a little bubbly something.
Yeah, I drink mostly booze on board. I don't need Coke.
Orange.
Ooh.
Oh my God, how do we block somebody on this chat? No, I don't care. Honestly, I make fun of the Pepsi because it makes Ryan feel better.
No.
I make fun of it because Ryan and Melinda really do hate Pepsi, but I don't drink soda at all of any really. I have an occasional root beer or like a root beer float, and that's got to be a special occasion. I just don't drink soda. It literally is liquid poison. So
yeah. Now regular Coke nowadays, yes, that's like really sugary, and Mel and I can really feel for us now that just really is sensitive. But Coke Zero, Cherry Coke Zero, those for me are fine. Pepsi is just.
I like me a Diet Dr. Pepper.
Now that, okay, I'll give you, there are a few Pepsi brands that I can live with. Mountain Dew, Diet Dr. Pepper.
Diet Mountain Dew?
No, I've tried Diet Mountain Dew, but no.
If I wanted antifreeze, I'd just go to the AutoZone and buy antifreeze. So who needs Mountain Dew?
All right. But we digress. Yeah. That's okay. All right, so we already talked about cabin readiness.
Elevators, crowds. How about food?
Yes.
That's a biggie.
Food quality, because I think there are both ways. Yeah.
My expectation is to eat. And then when I'm done eating, to eat some more.
Yes.
And then find somewhere to have a snack before I have dinner.
I don't know a girl on the porch. I don't know what happened.
All right. Yeah, I don't know.
She went bye-bye.
Yeah, she just timed out and disappeared.
That's okay. She can still be part of the chat there.
Cheers,
but yeah, but with food, I think there's again, a lot of these things we're talking about, there could be multiple expectations. If you're going in there thinking you're going to have, in the main dining room, a Ruth Chris, for instance, style steak or a Burns style steak, you're going to be sorely unimpressed with, let's say, with the most common line. So we're talking like Carnival, even Royal, those standard kind of contemporary cruise lines, you're not going to have that high of a quality in the main dining room.
It's not going to be junk. It's still going to be.
It's not going to be awful.
No, it's not junk. It's exactly. It's not going to be Golden Corral.
Yeah.
But you're right. It's not going to be speckled perch.
No, but
which nobody knows what we're talking about.
You guys, and that's technically not. I mean, we didn't really film that. We took pictures of it, and I might do a voiceover to tell you guys because it really was a tremendous steakhouse when we were at Kissimmee Prairie Preserve this last week. Yeah.
But yeah,
we might do an episode of that in the future.
We're getting
sidetracked again. We're talking steak, and so CJ and I are talking steak.
I know. But the food in the main dining room, I mean, it's not going to be awful. For most cases, it is very good.
Yeah.
I think only one ship we've had bad experience with food.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not going to name the ship.
And I won't even say it was a bad experience the entire cruise. It was really just a specific restaurant on said ship that might have been going out of New Jersey to Canada. And it might have been an Italian-inspired meal.
Wow.
But I won't say what line or where it was.
Oh, my gosh.
Wow. As long as you don't scroll through our history, you'll never figure it out.
Well, let's be honest. I mean, Mel and I have eaten in the main dining room, and we usually eat in the main dining room. I mean, that's all we did when we were on Carnival.
I don't mind eating in the dining room because you sometimes can get...
You also didn't know any better back then.
True.
Well, we were also cheap.
Yeah, we were cheap and poor back then.
We're still poor, but...
I was going to say, now you're poor. What are you now? Oh, yeah.
Now we're poor, but it's because we get the unlimited dining plan for the upscale restaurants.
But... Alice says she's a picky eater, but she always enjoyed it that she chooses to eat on cruise. Yeah, so I mean, there's always options on there. So you, they meet all kinds of needs for people: the vegetarian, the steaks, the Italian. So you got a wide variety. We talked about this over there.
The only thing that's missing is Chinese buffet.
If you're lucky, you can catch it at the Windjammer or something.
Yeah,
like
it's not the same as Chinese
as a regular.
Or if you're on a princess ship and they have the poke bowl station.
We did see
it's not
on
Chinese
Princess.
Food.
Yeah,
it
not
can't
the same
be.
Thing. It's not Chinese food and poke
I
bowl.
like what Ross is saying.
Where
the paragraph.
Oh, okay.
The pre-breakfast, the pre-breakfast, the breakfast, the post-breakfast. Yes.
Snack one. Bunch.
Exactly. It's very important, Ross, that I find something to eat at every single one of. I can pass on high tea, but all the rest I need to find something. So.
Yes.
And Christine says, I think most people love the food, but once you do the upgraded dining, it's hard to go back. That's true.
Yeah.
Once you've had filet mignon, who wants a chopstick?
Yeah. But I tell you, eating in the main dining room, you've got a lot of freedom too, because they have a lot of different things that you can taste. And if you don't like what you got there, they'll normally send it back. And if it's not like way after you started eating, they'll generally say, okay, well, you didn't like that entree. What do you want? And they'll go get it for you.
It's night 6. I've had 7 lobster tails, and all 7 lobster tails suck. You better bring me a filet mignon now.
But yeah, so I would say, set that expectation. Main dining room's still going to be good.
It's the Hobbit's way.
Yeah,
I like
it. Way.
I like it.
It's the Hobbit diet.
Yep. It's amazing how small they are for all they eat.
For the most part, the food's good. I mean, that's the expectation on most cruise ships. Is that's a big part of cruising. It's the food.
If we ever find a place where food sucks, we will absolutely tell people.
Oh yeah, we will let them know.
Yeah, I would say we haven't had any that have been that bad. We've had some that we've been very, very disappointed with. But
because our expectations were set very high.
Yeah, by the 3 or 4 other ships we've been on, and then we went to the same restaurant. We're like, what are you guys doing? What in the world are you doing? All right, since we're still talking about food, let's switch gears.
You must be
talking about foods.
You must really be hungry.
But I know, right? Well, I only had 2 of my.
I ate the rest of dinner. I was so hungry.
Yeah, I was making stir fry, but I guess we didn't clean my stir fry dish as clean as we could. And as soon as I put the chicken in, all the black stuff on the bottom. So all we ended up having was some pot stickers.
How do you think they get blackened chicken?
I know, right?
Yeah.
But let's talk about buffet crowds. I think one of the expectations is, oh my God, it's going to be so chaotic. It's going to take forever to get through the line.
Just the first day.
Yep.
Just the first day.
Because then people figure out what they liked and they go back for what they like.
Yep.
Exactly. And after the first day, all the other restaurants are open.
Open again.
So you're going to. Yep. So then you're going to have a natural disbursement of where people are going to eat because now you've got more options once you're at sea. You're generally going to have the buffet, maybe a couple of side restaurants for, platinum or diamond or something like that. I know on some of Royal ships, which I thought was weird, but at least if they have the mason jar actually is open for brunch on Embarkation Day. So,
which was an awesome choice because nobody knows that sometimes.
Yeah. So that really worked out. We didn't have to do the Windjammer. We did the brunch there at the Mason Jar.
That's a hidden gem.
Right.
And we got to see the shuttle go up while we're sitting there.
Yeah.
Very cool. Now, as far as expectations in the buffet, it doesn't matter what day the cruise you're there. Expect that one jerk who doesn't, wants to go the opposite of everyone else. It's good. That's going to happen. Yes. They're from Europe. They don't know what side of the road to drive on, so they don't understand what side of the buffet to line on. It's okay. Shake your head at them and just move on.
Yeah. I was going to say, I guess that is one thing. It's just different expectations on how buffet work. Yeah. Because usually, in the U.S., we're more like start at the very beginning and you just go and you wait until you get where you need to go.
Yeah, it's a conveyor belt.
But European style is, hey, I only want this one item. I'm not going to stand in that long line. I'm just going to go in front of this person who's looking at something, and I'm just going to grab what I need really fast and get out of here.
I guess that's me because I'm European. But I'm polite. I ask because, I'm not going. If I don't want a salad, I'm not standing in the salad.
Did you want this last whatever I'm about to take? Too bad. So sad.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Chet's got a countdown. 24 days until the Enchanted Princess. Whoop, whoop. That's what I'm talking about.
Christine loves the buffet.
Yep. Weren't you trying to sneak in something sooner than that, though, Chet?
Sooner than 24 days?
Yeah, he said 24 days was too long, and he was going to try to sneak in something else.
Sneak in a weekend, a last-minute weekender.
Pretty sure he was looking for Margaritaville on the Islander.
Okay.
Oh, our local radio station is going out on that soon.
Nice.
93.3 FLZ out of Tampa has got a group cruise going on.
Oh, yeah. We bought some cabins off of the Margaritaville for our travel agency that is a discounted rate.
Yeah.
So if anybody wants to go on Margaritaville, just give us a call.
Oh, that's right. I forgot Joyce went ahead and grabbed stuff just for our agency.
So anything else about cabins? Food?
No, I think that about does it.
I think we've set reasonable expectations.
So room sizes.
Yeah. I think some of the misconceptions are it's so tiny and it's so cramped that I'm never going to enjoy it.
You're never going to be in your room.
However, objects in the pictures are slightly smaller than they appear.
Yeah. So, I mean, there's a plus and minus to that.
Sure.
I'll grant you, there are some interior cabins that, yes, they're tight. There are.
Yep.
But for the most part, most of the cruise lines have fairly spacious rooms, in all honesty.
When you consider what's being, mass produced and crammed in.
Yeah. And if you haven't, I actually posted, I think it was the one that we just posted yesterday on our channel from the Caribbean Princess. That was an interior cabin.
Those were nice.
Was actually very, very spacious for an interior cabin.
Yeah, it was very nice size.
So if you haven't seen that, check that out. And on the flip side, we also have an interior of the Utopia that was definitely smaller. Felt a lot smaller than the other one.
Smaller, but I think just because where it was located and
we did the lowest price, and it was one of those you pick where we stay, and that's how we ended up at that cabin.
Right.
We never have luck either. Every time we do that, our room has always been a connecting cabin to somebody next to us with one of those connecting.
Nobody wants a connecting cabin. Nobody.
Yeah.
As long as there's no kids in the connecting cabin, I guess I can tolerate its existence, and they don't mind hearing night activities.
So Sea Leg Journeys wants a free Margaritaville cruise. We do too.
Yep. Well, he was in the service, so the military free.
Oh yeah.
Where you just pay taxes and port fees.
Oh yeah. That website.
Yeah, Mom and Dad have cashed in on theirs.
Yeah,
and they love the Islander.
They just got back from one of those.
Yeah, they actually just got back from another one on the Islander.
Oh, okay.
They like it because it's not your typical cruise line. So if you go on the Margaritaville expecting like a Carnival or Royal Caribbean style experience,
no,
it's not going to be anywhere near that. It's totally, I like to call Margaritavilleized. It's Jimmy Buffett laid back. There's not a lot going on other than Jimmy Buffett music and places to chill.
Yeah.
So yeah. But yeah, I mean, most of these cabins, if you get, for instance, a balcony cabin or higher, they're actually fairly spacious for most of them. Mm-hmm. They're fairly comfortable.
Yeah, you don't have. I mean, as long as you keep it organized and clean, I mean, you won't be tripping all over your stuff. But it's
don't do a Fred and Sarah.
Oh, don't do a Fred and Sarah. Clutter it up.
Oh God, they get there 1 o'clock, 1:30. It's like, did your suitcase explode?
Yeah, Mel and I, when we have a choice, we'd rather have a balcony.
Mm-hmm.
However, we kind of dialed that back, and Mel was the one who was like, I am never going in interior again. But now that they actually have kind of gotten up there, everything's more expensive now. It's like, well, if we want to go on a cruise, we should get an interior because it's going to cost, $1,000 cheaper.
But I've traded that. So, we got the interior spa, so I get the spa now.
Yeah. So on the Vista, we'll have the interior, but a spa room, so we have access to the thermal suites, and so we won't spend a lot of time in the room.
Right.
Most of it will be in the thermal suites or somewhere else. So, but anyway, cabin size.
Cabin size, yep.
Anything else on cabins?
Size matters. I mean,
size doesn't always matter.
It's not the size of the cabin;
Ocean
it's how
in the
you
ocean.
use it that's important.
Yeah, Christine said that's why she's not cruising at the moment.
Yeah.
I thought it was because your husband was stingy.
I didn't break my ankle in 3 places.
Oh my god. All right, so entertainment. Or do you want to stay on crowds? Like pool?
Entertainment's
Okay.
fine.
Yeah, entertainment's fine.
You know, for the most part, it's usually okay to good. But every now and again, there's some misleading thing where you think it's going to be A, and it's what the what are you talking about here? You know?
Yes.
What is this all Spanish, completely butchering of every song that I kind of like from that decade? And why can't I get out of this auditorium faster?
Right.
There have been a few misleading ones. Yes.
I don't know. Either we're gotten really picky, or the entertainment's starting to suck a little lately. So,
I think our expectation, and you know what, I think it is as well. For me personally, anyway, being a music major, being someone who knows what tunes are supposed to sound like, what someone singing in tune sounds like, what someone singing in tune in the right key consistently sounds like. And you go to some of these shows that are a cappella and you're like, you just changed keys like 7 times in one stanza.
Picky about your music.
Yeah, I mean, you for a musician, you hate most genres of music. I don't know if we can take your opinion into it.
We can't take your opinion.
Yeah,
I
think we're going to veto you.
No, here it is. Everyone in the chat, you just tell me that you agree and we'll be all in sync here. 80s and 90s music is the only music that should exist.
Oh my gosh. Wow. All kinds
Minus country and rap.
Some of the only country that's tolerable came out in the 90s. And I say that because anything after the 90s in country is not tolerable.
I like the music that's now, the country music.
Yeah. But let's be honest. Yes, most of the time the shows are actually really good. You know, you kind of might go in with that expectation of, oh, this is going to be, you know, it's a cruise ship and it's going to be terrible.
Yeah, Christine's got a point. I
know,
mean, she's spoiled by Broadway shows.
Yeah.
That's true. I've taken her to or in our time we've seen quite a number of shows on Broadway and Broadway productions in other, you know, here in Tampa or other things, and so yeah, we are a little spoiled. But you know, that's why I say, you know, I don't need a musical act. I'd rather be seeing things like variety shows, like a quality magician, you know, a crazy juggler, you know, who's got 6 chainsaws and, you know, a flaming baby.
Yes.
I do like the variety of Royal Caribbean's entertainment. Like they have the dive shows, which we never saw before in Carnival, and
ice skating shows that we never saw.
The ice skating on Royal is superior.
Yes.
And I don't think they get enough credit for
I don't think so
the
either.
size of that area, the area to skate, the motion of that ship, the quality of stunts that are pulling up. Does every triple axle land perfect? No, it doesn't. That's why they're on Royal Caribbean and not on, you know, NBC, you know, Winter Olympics. But what they do on that and the production and quality there are absolutely superior. It beats the shit out of Disney on Ice.
Yeah. And I have to say, when we were on the Utopia, that ice show was probably the best ice show, production and execution wise, that we've seen thus far on Royal.
Wow.
I mean,
That's
was
a lot because we've seen some really good ones.
Yeah,
we have, and that's why I was just like, I even looked at Melanie. I was like, oh my god, can we go to this show again? Is there opening that we can actually get back and watch this again?
Yeah, that was one of his favorite shows.
So it was amazing.
Law Jones says plus 60s. Some 60s, yes.
Yeah, I guess some 60s, some 70s.
You want to do a little Neil Greenbaum, a little Spirit in the Sky.
70s and 80s.
I can't sing anymore. We'll get copyrighted.
That's right.
A lot of people are agreeing with you, 70s and 80s.
Yeah, see, that time frame for me anyway felt like that's when music, it told a story.
That's because you're old.
It had
I'm not old.
No,
like
yeah.
true lyrics, and nowadays everything is synthesized on a computer, and it's 90% the same chorus, just with drums or without drums, with a cymbal, without a cymbal, with a guitar, without a guitar, fast or slow.
Ryan, you need to just shut up and dance with me.
Yeah.
That song is terrible.
It's the worst song ever. Oh my God, it's so bad. It really is.
Oh my gosh.
But in general, I think
Most
the
of
shows are going to be really good quality.
Yeah.
Think. They're still going to be entertaining.
Not just the main shows though. I think a lot of the side gigs, like you go to listen to somebody sing or do karaoke or something like that. That's entertainment there too.
Yeah, well, karaoke's its own form of entertainment. That's
Yes.
Right.
So there's all kinds of entertainment. It's not just the production shows.
Yeah.
Those are just one aspect.
When we were on the Mardi Gras, I actually did not like the main production shows.
I didn't like.
It's the first time I ever actually got up and left the show.
Yeah.
Now, granted,
We try not to be that like that.
We try not to be like that, but this was right after COVID, so I'm sure things were still really rusty. People, trying to get people back into either that. Maybe I'm just being too nice, but
it was,
they couldn't carry a tune. If someone, I can't say it because technically then I'll have to not monetize this video, but if someone did something to them and said sing or else, they would not be able to still carry a tune.
I don't know. It was
bad.
We learned to kind of sit in the back now.
Yep. But on the flip side, every performance that was on the side stage that they have on the Mardi Gras was unbelievable. The band that they had out there doing, 80s and 90s, I guess maybe that's why, cover music all the time.
I liked
was
them.
Wonderful.
And the guy
the guy Flying Scotsman, the cruise director,
he was good.
This dude, holy crap! I know that he got promoted. We are missing his entertainment. His show was an hour long, and he did everything from Bocelli to Queen.
Yes,
and ZZ Top.
Well,
I mean,
ZZ was at the end of the album.
Dorma, and it was like a tearjerker. And then he flipped on to Queen, and it was just, he was amazing, just amazing.
And the other guy that was on there, that was really cool. That used to be Les Mis.
Yeah, there was another guy they flew on for entertainment that was a Broadway. And so he was like the main actor that did on Broadway Jekyll and Hyde. He was the main one who sung The Beast when Beauty and the Beast came out. He played Jean Valjean. He played Javert. And so he came in to do songs and talk about his experiences, which again was amazing. So there's still going to be some really good entertainment.
Yep.
So, all right.
How about
Actually, before we move on, so we can all get a quick drink of water, I want you guys to feast your eyes on this magnificent gem right here.
Attention all adventurers and travel lovers. Are you ready to embark on the ultimate getaway? Join PK Adventure Travels for an unforgettable group cruise aboard the brand new MSC World America, a ship that redefines luxury and adventure on the high seas. This is a 7-night Caribbean cruise departing from vibrant Miami, Florida on November 22nd, 2025. Imagine spending Thanksgiving week surrounded by turquoise waters, warm sunshine, and breathtaking destinations. Here's what's in store. Explore the tropical paradise of Roatan, Honduras. Discover the stunning beauty of Costa Maya, Mexico. Dive into the vibrant culture and crystal clear waters of Cozumel, Mexico. And enjoy pure relaxation on MSC's private island, Ocean Cay, where white sand beaches and exclusive experiences await. You don't want to miss this opportunity to cruise, connect, and create memories with like-minded travelers. Whether you're looking for adventure, relaxation, or both, this cruise has it all. Spaces are limited, and this is your chance to sail with PK Adventure Travels and experience the Caribbean like never before. Call now or visit us online to reserve your spot. The countdown to your dream vacation starts now.
Ryan just told me he needs to shut up.
I was like, my throat's hurting. She's like, well, it's because you're doing all the talking. It's like, damn. But yes, in all seriousness, if anybody is looking to get in on that cruise or knows anyone who's looking for it, definitely let us know. The last time I checked, which was just yesterday, the rates that we have locked in until at least August, I have to check exactly when in August, but they are $400 per person cheaper than they're going for right now.
Right.
So, I mean, it is an amazing deal.
And if you are waiting to see what the ship looks like, we're going to be on there in a couple weeks, and we're going to do a ship tour.
Yep. First weekend of May, we'll be on there, which means I'll push it out by the second week of May to do a ship tour. But it's definitely something to jump on if you want to experience that new ship. It'll be 6 months after it's out, so all the kinks with the maiden voyage that's going on right now should all be worked out. So,
or it'll have some.
Yeah, but if you've seen it, like I know we were watching Sammy Travel, they did a live where you could kind of see out their balcony.
Mm-hmm.
Really, in all honesty, looks like Oasis class ship.
It does.
From
it does
Royal, because they had that inner balcony over what would have been the boardwalk area or Central Park. It just looks amazing.
There's a lighthouse on there.
Yeah, lighthouse, and there's also a frosted glass upper deck that's
and
over
go-karts.
that people can walk over.
And go-karts.
So, but anyway, we digress.
Sorry.
Since I talk too much, I'm going to let Mel talk about the next one.
Oh, so
yes. And if you're talking about 6 seconds, I agree with you.
But I was in CL. It wouldn't be the same one, will it?
Oh, was that an NCL?
It was an NCL.
Was it a country show? Because Carnival had
looking to
that was
8 seconds.
It was 8 seconds.
And it was all country, and I threw up in my mouth a little bit.
All right. So clearly, anything that's under 30 seconds doesn't work for Ryan.
Yeah.
This was me when I was at 8 seconds. All right, I'll be quiet for a little bit. What's next?
Entertainment. No more entertainment. How about Wi-Fi? What's your expectations on Wi-Fi?
Depends on your ship.
Yeah, it actually does depend on your ship.
Drastically.
Newer ships have the Starlink that they've been loading onto the new ships. So it's going to be a little bit better, but you're going to pay a lot of money to get Wi-Fi. Yeah.
It's not cheap. It's definitely not.
And if you're expecting to upload a video or to do harder stuffs, I mean, you're not going to get it.
Yeah.
Not on the ship.
Definitely not. Yeah, you definitely can't download the hardcore stuff.
No. You could probably do simple stuff, check emails, maybe do social media, but beyond that, I don't know how Christine works, but
fortunately,
works.
Fortunately, we're on a VPN, so we do have some dedicated bandwidth from our provider. So once we're on and made an internet connection, our slowdown is the satellite relay to the ship or whatnot. So that's how we get away with it on there. Plus, for the most part, we're working in a static database, or should I say, multiple static databases. Yeah, right over your head. Yeah. Sorry. You asked. That's how we do it.
Okay, anyway. So Alice said it's about 6 wives of Henry the VIII.
Oh.
Okay.
I would thought that would have been
Didn't he kill them all? I mean, I know he had to tell at least the first couple something more than once, so they lost their head or something.
I think the first
two,
the second and third one I did it, lose their heads. The first one he divorced, right?
I don't know. That's what happens when you're married to the king and he has to tell you something twice. That's all I can say.
Anyway, so Wi-Fi, I mean,
it's getting better.
It's getting better. That's the way forward. Yeah.
Right now, expect that you're going to still pay a lot, and that it is minimum. And roll back 10 years. Whatever you got at home, roll back technologically minimally 10 years, and that's what you should expect. And if it's better than that, great. Yeah. But that's a realistic expectation to set for yourself. There are a lot of people trying to use those ad hoc, networks. Even with the newer connection technology, Starlink and such.
You should just bring your own Starlink, put it on your balcony.
Oh, you can't. You can watch
They,
Ryan.
they actually tried that. It was Scott and No Pants Prophet, I think. When they did their Hawaii cruise, he brought his Starlink and actually did a short on YouTube about it.
And then got banned from that cruise line for life.
Well, no, but they did confiscate it. It went viral like that, and they saw it, and they went and they took it from them.
Yep.
That's one way to get viral on YouTube.
Yeah.
But now it's in their contract that it's banned.
Yeah. And you know what is when it comes to Wi-Fi, depending on what cruise ship you go on, will depend what kind of access you get. So what I mean by that is, like, for instance, Royal is only one cost, and it's streaming and surfing. Carnival, you have just social media, which blocks every other VPN other than Facebook, Twitter, that kind of thing. Then you have the surfing, where you can access any website, but you can't stream anything. Then you have the streaming ability. So, and each one of those is going to be a different price point.
And then you have chat too.
Yeah, then you have just the chat within their local app.
Yeah.
So.
Well, Larry's here.
Hey, Larry.
Larry! Wait, oops, I was on the wrong
Welcome to the party, pal.
Hello there.
I always try to guess what the button
Welcome to the party, pal.
There you go, just for you, CJ.
Thanks.
So.
But yeah, I mean, it's Wi-Fi is a new thing, I think, on cruise ships in what do you think, the last 15 years?
Yeah.
So it's getting better.
It's definitely getting better. It's definitely heads and tails better than it was before Starlink, because even when we would pay for it, if we were in our cabin half the time, we couldn't get connected.
You have to be on it. Yeah, be prepared to do anything more than quick check an email or text outside of your room. Open deck, open area, public space.
It helps better.
Yep.
All right. The next one is motion sickness. I don't think this is.
It's all in your head. Motion sickness is all in your head.
Well, obviously.
Yeah, the expectation is, it's on a ship, I'm going to be seasick. And I think in earlier days of cruising with some of the smaller ships, yes, you can feel it move a lot more. But with these mega things,
I know they got a cruise coming out. It's got 8,000 passengers coming.
Yeah,
that's crazy.
That's more than live. That's more people than live in some incorporated villages.
Yeah. I said it's one of Carnival's newest ships.
Coming out in 27.
8,000. And that's just passengers, 8,000.
Yeah.
So what? There's another, 3 to 4 minimal on crew, you'd have to think at least, right?
Yep.
So you're talking about a 12,000 person. Wow. So when that catches fire, loses power or whatnot, that's going to be a catastrophe.
I don't know how that's going to be, but that's a different topic for a different day.
Well, it's Carnival, so,
Oh, my gosh.
But
I never miss a chance to take a shot.
I was going to say, I think more and more motion sickness on these bigger ships is not really that much of a thing unless you're super, super, super sensitive, which some people are. So
the average, it's not going to happen to, honestly, I'd say 75 to 80% of people are not going to even know that the boat is moving. And then the 15 to 20% left who know the boat's moving, maybe 3% of them are going to actually have an effect on the larger, like these Oasis class and bigger stuff. Unless you get caught at the tail of a hurricane or, in October or something that's outside of the norm of just cruising, to your port A to point B.
Yeah, we've actually been on a cruise, though, that it was so bad we had to go lay down in the room. Mm-hmm. It was the weather.
Did you roll off the bed?
Actually, we did. It wasn't to the point where you saw everything shifting and flying off, but it was definitely like when you're trying to walk into the dining room, they could only fill the glasses half full, because anything more than that, it would slosh over.
Okay. Everything in the stores were falling over like that.
Gotcha. So Castaway, not the Poseidon Adventure.
Correct. And Mel and I, we got the transderm Scott. Well, we went through a bunch of different motion sickness stuff, ginger stuff.
I still use ginger stuff.
Dramamine, the little C bands that put the pressure point, over there. And it got to the point where we just get the transderm Scott patches now. We bring it with us, but generally we try not to use it until what's the motion going to be? And then only put it on if we're truly starting to feel.
On the smaller ships, I probably would do it just because you could feel them a little bit more in the smaller ones, but not the big ones.
But again, this is only if you know that you're, you get, that you're.
I get motion sickness
because,
though.
Yeah, Melinda's known for it. Yeah. I don't know what motion sickness is like because I've never had it in my life.
Yeah,
I
just a little bit.
It doesn't bother me in any way. Car, boat, plane, train.
Yeah. More and more, I haven't needed it. Like when we first started cruising, I didn't need it. Then kind of midway through, I needed it. And now it's more like, okay, I really don't need it anymore. So I've been kind of hit or miss. But, all right. So what's next?
But if you want a tip, if you want to avoid or make sure you avoid being sea sickness, try to get in the middle of the ship when you book your cabin.
Sure. Yep.
Yep. Midship.
Midship.
And midship.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Midship. Yeah.
Yes.
Strike
because
pose.
the higher you go, the more you'll feel that sway, depending on where you are. The lower you go, you're going to have a little bit, but midship.
Christine and I both in the car. Yeah, that's why I prefer to drive all the time because I don't get seasick or I don't get.
Christine cannot be anywhere but the front seat after a meal.
Yeah.
Yeah, we know that.
And then Larry said he's never been on a cruise. You should go on a cruise.
Yeah.
Yeah.
At least he says he's never been in. At least it wasn't. I've never been in a car. That would have concerned me.
So I mean, other than just talking about generally other people on the cruise, what to expect from other people. Most people are there on vacation. They're there to enjoy themselves and have a good time.
So keep that in mind.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because in today's entitled universe, it's all about me.
Yeah. And that is definitely a younger you go, bigger the problem is situation.
Yes.
It'd be nice if they had a room where you could drop them off for beatings. I think that's on Virgin actually now.
Yes. Yeah, but just keep in mind, don't let people ruin your vacation.
Yes.
It's not worth it.
Yeah. There's going to be an a-hole. You're going to run into an a-hole somewhere at some point for one reason or another. But then again, like Christine always tries to remind me after an encounter like that, you don't know what happened in their life or their day. Maybe they just got a ship to short call and their dog died, or something.
Yep.
Right.
It's not an excuse, but it's a coping to keep things like that in mind sometimes.
Definitely.
You paid a lot of money to be there. Don't let it ruin it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So, and I guess that kind of brings in that one topic then is, don't let one bad moment or one incident ruin the rest of your cruise.
Yeah, exactly. One bad dinner does not ruin the whole dining room.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly. One crummy, one bad,
excursion doesn't ruin it all.
Yeah, exactly. A bad excursion here doesn't mean the next place is going to be bad. You should cancel it. And, one horrible performance doesn't mean the comedian won't be good.
Yeah. And the other thing that I like to say, because I've actually seen it at work, like multiple times, don't let your preconceived notions of what your expectation is also now have you nitpicking everything that's wrong and everything that, I told you that was going to suck. Oh, I told you. And all you're now doing is focusing on the bad versus, hey, I paid a lot to be on this vacation. Yeah, that didn't work, but let me make it up. Let me go do something else.
Yeah.
So, but I've absolutely seen that where someone went in with preconceived notions and everything they looked at was trying to support why they hated it and why they wouldn't want to be there and all this kind of stuff.
Self-fulfilling prophecy.
Yes.
Sun is starting to blind me. I'm going to have to shift in some manner.
That's okay. I think we're about wrapped up here anyway. We're a little
over time tonight.
So I guess the final question and final
the poll too.
thing we'll do is we'll talk about disembarking the ship, and then we'll close out that poll. So get in there and vote if you haven't voted yet.
Disembarkation. It's going to be just as crowded disembarking as it was embarking, because the same number of people for the most part are getting on and off. Expect a crowd.
Yes.
You're funneling people through one spot or funneling people onto one ship. So
we have literally seen a line to get off, wrap through every major room on a main deck, and then upstairs and around outside decks and stuff.
Yep.
Just
go enjoy breakfast.
Yeah. If you don't need to get off first, don't fight to do it. Don't. Now, I'm not saying be a certain other couple I know who get their name announced to get off the ship. But, if disembark is expected at 8, and you don't need to get, somewhere like for a flight or other issue, well, don't get online at 6:45 like the people who do. Exactly. Go have the continental breakfast. Go get a coffee, even though the coffee line's long the last day. Just make sure you didn't forget anything that you packed. Check all the drawers, all the stuff in the bathroom, under the bed, under the hamper, wherever else you threw your negligees. And you're good.
And if you're on Royal Caribbean and you're in a suite, don't have a cutoff T-shirt on Disembarkation Day.
Oh yes.
You can't get in for breakfast at the suite only area.
Yep.
Ask me how I know.
I'm sorry, sir. I know you've eaten here 22 times this week, but you can't eat here now.
Yeah.
Yeah. Dress code still applies to venues on Disembarkation Day. Is the best way to say that.
And I love my cutoffs. Now that I'm in Florida, it gets so blasted hot, and it was the middle of the summer, so I wanted to be very comfortable getting home, and weren't allowed into the I think it was Chops is where the suite was.
Chops was acting as the suite's only breakfast, breakfast area for the Disembarkation Day. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're with you, Alice. We like to be sometimes the last people off.
Yep. We've, as CJ had alluded to at one point, we're like, Mr. and Mrs. Parker, get your butt off the ship.
Yeah.
Now, I've never been.
For the record, we're always out of our room. We're always out of our room so they can clean the room, but we might be stragglers actually getting off the ship.
Right.
Now, Christine and I also often will basically try to be the first one off, because if we're getting home in Tampa or Canaveral, our goal is to be back at work after the 2-hour drive home, because we didn't take the Monday off on a weekender. We're just going late, work late, or skip lunch or like that. So we have a reason for that. But when like Alaska, there was no reason to rush to get off Alaska. We had all day before that flight that night,
and most of the night before the flight left.
It felt like most of the night before that flight. Good thing it was all you can eat inside that particular lounge that we were hanging out.
That was a perfect idea that Mel had, and I'm glad it worked out that we were able to get into one of the lounges, because that would have been murder for 13 hours at the airport.
Yeah.
All right, let's close it out. Your wife's calling you.
Yeah, she's very needy.
But so in the end, just pack your patience when you're getting on the ship. Pack your patience when you're getting off the ship. It's going to be a mess. It's going to be crazy.
Roll with the punches. Have fun.
Yeah.
All right, so I'm going to end the poll here, and let's see what we got. All right, so what surprised you most about your cruise? In first place was it didn't feel as crowded after day one. That took the top spot.
Okay. And it really doesn't. It really doesn't.
Yeah. And then very, very close in second place was thought they'd get seasick, but they didn't get seasick.
Yeah.
And then tied for the last two was food was better than expected, and the entertainment and shows actually blew them away when they were thinking it wasn't. So
that's good stuff. Good stuff.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we appreciate you guys.
Yep.
And don't forget, we're moving to Thursday starting May 1st.
Yeah, May 1st. So next week, still Wednesdays next week.
Yep. And we're still cruising. We're still cruise talking the rest of the month.
Yep. And we'll probably still cruise talk technically May 1st, because we already had April planned out, and I just switched the date because it was April 30th to May 1st. So we'll probably still, and then we'll get back to RVing.
Talk about some in RVing and such. Yep. Some new experiences.
So
like doing it with a broken ankle.
Yeah, that would have been fun with how you guys had to get up and down out of the
Yeah,
steps in there.
that was an interesting event. But we'll talk about that in May.
Yep, we will. All right, everyone. Well, thank you guys so much for stopping by. We definitely love you. Thanks for the support. And we will see you same bat time, same bat channel next week for our last Wednesday night show before we move to Thursday. So good night and stay safe out there, everybody.
Seeing you on the scenic route.
Absolutely.